Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the Marhaba Lounge in Singapore Changi Airport Terminal 1 on my recent visit in April 2025. I'm going to be reviewing the food, the drink, both alcoholic and non-alcoholic, and also the facilities available throughout the lounge. Somewhat confusingly, Singapore Airport has two Marhaba Lounges, one in Terminal 1 and one in Terminal 3. I've reviewed the Terminal 3 one in a video linked at the end of this. Let me know in the comments which you think looks better. Today, however, we're reviewing the Terminal 1 lounge, which you can access by going up these escalators and following the sign. When you get to the top of the escalators, keep right and you will see a very clear sign marking the lounge. You can gain access to the Marhaba Lounge by flying business class on certain airlines. However, I gained access today using my Priority Pass card. The lounge is very spacious, much more spacious than the lounge at Terminal 3, and I had no problem getting a seat. It appears as though a considerable amount of work has gone into the decor here, as it was very pleasant to see, and they even had a garden in the back, which you could view through floor-to-ceiling windows, although you weren't actually allowed to walk in it, which is a shame. The lounge itself is quite narrow, but very long. From one end to the other, I would estimate the lounge to be easily over 100 meters. I'm sure most people are just on their devices using Wi-Fi, however, there were some magazines available if you wanted something to read. The view from most of the lounge is to the interior of the airport. If you wanted to get some work done, there were plenty of tabletop spaces with individual power sockets, both universal and USB Type-A. The decor of the lounge was nice, but eclectic. I mean, that's a miniature chair in the display cabinet. And then as you look further on, there appears to be some kind of elephant. And then here, a Chinese statue of sorts. I'm sorry, I don't know what it's meant to be. And a horse. Why not? Like I said, eclectic. Before I sat down, I grabbed a cup of coffee. Thankfully, there was a machine that'll make a variety of coffee styles, and I was going for espresso today. The taste was pretty good. Not the best cup in the world, but it got the job done. They also had a fridge containing a wide variety of soft drinks and Tiger beer, which is Singapore's national brand. They also had some juices and chilled water at the bottom. If coffee or soft drinks aren't your thing, they had hot chocolate or tea. And if you wanted something stronger, there was, how do I put this, a lot of wine. Like a lot of wine. They also had 4 spirit bottles, which I believe were a Chivas Regal, an Absolute Vodka, Bacardi rum and a Beefeater gin. Between all of this, pretty much everybody should be happy and able to get something they want. The food options were somewhat limited, but again, great to pick up a little snack. There was some noodles, which you could make, a variety of soups available, as well as Chinese porridge, and there were also a selection of hot items. The items definitely had an Asian feel. There was a Malaysian chicken curry, an Indian dal, and a Chinese salt and pepper chicken. I can't say these looked the most appetizing. However, I did try some and they were piping hot and tasty. If you're enjoying the video so far, please subscribe. If absolutely none of this takes your fancy, they have a small flask of peanuts. These were unsalted and with the skin on. Also available is an all-day toast machine. And I say it's all day because they didn't seem to take it away even when I visited at 3 o'clock. They also had things like a very basic looking salad bar, some fruits, and as well as some small muffins, danishes, that sort of thing. They had a chocolate cake available, which I tried, and I'm sorry to say it wasn't that good. Definitely not the best chocolate cake. At the end of this row, there were a few additional hot items. This one was a spaghetti pasta of some sort, and they also had some steamed vegetables, carrots and beans. There was definitely more variety here than in the Terminal 3 lounge. One thing that really impressed me about this lounge is they don't just have toilets available, they also have showers. Showers in airport lounges are kind of like home insurance. 99% of the time you don't need them, but when you do, it's an absolute godsend. The shower was a sort of rain shower style shower head, and they contained generic toiletries, shampoo and body wash. I didn't take a shower on my visit, however, I did smell the toiletries, and they smelled nice. One thing I must note is that the state of the shower room had seen better days. There were things missing, things hanging off the wall, and generally it just looked like it needed a fresh lick of paint. None of this is serious, and it doesn't affect the quality of the shower in any way, but it's some cosmetic work the lounge might want to consider working on. Another lifesaver, which is often missing from these sort of things, is a hairdryer. I was pleased to see that one was built into the wall and very easy to use. Overall, this was a very decent setup and a credit to the lounge. Maybe just consider working on the cosmetics. Helpfully, the lounge contains its own departure board, so you don't need to go outside to check on your flight. Also helpfully, in addition to being at the tables, there were also ample power sockets near the chairs. Again, these were the universal type, as well as 2 USB-A style chargers. I'm really grateful to see more and more lounges, including these everywhere. The number of devices people have, myself included, means they need to be topped up when I'm travelling. Whilst I'm giving my concluding thoughts, I'll do a little walk through the lounge, just to show you how long it is. And bear in mind, this doesn't show the food section. Overall, I was pleased with this lounge, but with a caveat. I was pleased for a priority pass lounge. I am aware that some airlines use this for their business class passengers. For example, Japan Airlines doesn't have its own lounge in Changi Airport, and so its passengers are directed here. As far as an international airline business lounge goes, it's not the best. The Cathay Lounge, the Qatar Lounge, the Qantas Lounge, the Singapore Airlines Lounge, the list goes on, they're all better. But for a priority pass lounge, this is a really solid offering. In my view, despite being operated by the same people, it's actually a lot nicer than the Marhaba Lounge in Terminal 3. Well worth a visit to either of them, but if you have to choose, I would choose this one.